The water is coming up again, and I turned off all the water, and I don't know what to do. Do I have to show my dirty house to get more views? I did have my daughter go under the bed and push all the trash out. You'll see here soon.
And this video right here is her cleaning out her fridge. And obviously people were like, that is crazy, right? Because it is very, you know, it's a lot to see.
Get my house ready with me so CPS can come over.
Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we have a little bit different of a topic, something that we've never really touched on too much. So today's subject of today's video, his name is Amanda. She goes by, I think it's Amanda Conda or something like that. Amanda McG. Demanda Conda is what she goes by on TikTok. And this is a story that I think is very interesting and one that I think a lot of people can relate to. There's a lot of things that I can relate to based on this story. So Amanda is someone that is a single, or not single mother, but she is a mother, and I think she's a stay-at-home mom, and she really struggles with keeping her house clean. That's kind of, I know it sounds weird, but that's kind of her whole brand on TikTok and social media, is someone that struggles to keep their house clean. And I grew up in a very, 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 very low income household. My mom was a single mom. She worked full time, more than full time, and our house was not clean. You know, like we were the house that if anyone was coming over, we would have to try and make sure we'd clean it as much as possible. But even then, we would have to tell people like, hey, I know the house isn't that clean. It's really old. We have a slumlord that's our landlord that doesn't ever fix anything, blah, 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 right? So we never had the cleanest house. We never had the nicest house. Everything was very old. Most of the stuff didn't work. Our water heater would go off and on, and he would try and come and fix it and never actually have someone come and give us a new water heater. So he would try to fix it. It was a mess, right? And so the reason I'm saying all that is because I empathize and I can sympathize with the whole situation of things that are going on here, right? Someone that's struggling to keep your house clean. You have a lot of other things that you are doing. I get that. And it's very interesting because it seems that her TikToks have taken quite the shift from where they started and like the types of TikToks they were versus where they are now. And I feel like a large part of that is just the fact that so much of this is on social media. Now, obviously, I went through very similar things, but none of that was really being monetized for social media. And that's where the problems start, in my opinion, because it's one thing to be going through something like this. I think it's another thing to monetize that situation and try and basically make money out of this really not good situation. So that's what we are going to be talking about today. So what I want to do to share this story with you guys is basically take you through a timeline that is filmed through TikToks. That's the best way to go about this. So we are going to be going over her TikToks, kind of starting from where things started, and we're going to end where they are right now, which is a lot. CPS has been called. There's been a lot of stuff that has happened in these like basically 5 years. So with that being said, this is how things started. We're not going to be playing the audio again because TikTok, all the audio would get claimed, but it started off with these videos where, you know, kind of a messy house and it's like dirty, and she clicks her fingers, snaps her fingers, and then, oh, it's all clean, right? And so this is kind of like where things started, right? This is 2020. And this is, you know, it seemed like a young mom. I could see pretty relatable, right? But this, you know, this video has 100 likes. You know, it's not nothing, but it's nothing huge. And then if we go on to this one, again, it's like her just talking about, oh, this song that's playing is like, I'm a savage, blah, 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 whatever, right? And then so she's saying, oh, I'm actually I'm a mother of three. I keep saying single mom. She's not a single mom. I apologize for that. You know, she's a mother of three, and she's, you know, doing the best that she can. That's kind of like the content that she was making. That was the persona that she was putting on social media, and a lot of people can relate to that. And there's plenty of people that make content that about being, you know, a mother or a single mother or a father or whatever on TikTok, right? It's relatable. A lot of people can really relate to that. There's really nothing that special at the start, but the reason I wanted to show you this is because I feel like it's important to understand how things have changed. So let's continue going down this timeline. So it wasn't long after those first TikToks in 2020 where things kind of started to take a turn and people started noticing that in a lot of these like videos where it was supposed to be someone kind of showing themselves struggling with cleaning but still trying to make things work, it seemed like the things were kind of getting worse. And again, it was only exacerbated with the fact that there are kids that are involved as well. And, you know, when people see kids that they feel are being neglected, they really don't like that. And so this is a TikTok from 2021, right? And so this is December of 2021, so it's almost 2022, right? So there's been a little bit of time in between.
What your house looks like right now without cleaning. I'll go first. I like to do this to make sure everyone knows it's normal to have a messy home sometimes. As much as we love a spick and span home. Never beat yourself up, okay, my honeys? Show me.
So again, like with that TikTok, it's clear that she is trying to, you know, reach out to people and prove to, you know, like normalize the mess. Talk about like it's normal to have a messy house. And like, again, to an extent, I don't even disagree with that. And even what we saw there, like, yeah, it's pretty dirty, but it's not the end of the world. It doesn't look unbelievable. You know, my house looked quite similar to that. I think a big part was I lived in not the best area. Our house was very, very old. It was never really taken care of, at least not for many years by the time we were living there. And so there was a lot of stuff that no matter how much you cleaned, no matter how much you deep cleaned, it was going to look dirty, right? It was going to look like dirty walls, dirty tiles. No one is going to fix it. No one's going to pay to fix it. And my mom wasn't able to afford to fix it. And we were paying rent anyway, so we couldn't even do it if we wanted to, right? And the landlord's sure as hell not going to do it, right? And so again, it's understandable, right? But people started noticing that it seemed that the mess kept getting worse while all of the content was based on, I need to clean the mess. I need to, you know, I'm trying to clean this up. And that just never really seemed to happen, right? And so that was like a really big part of the issue that people had. But again, you know, she is clearly going through a lot as well. With this TikTok, it shows a little bit of her kids, and one of her son, you know, has autism. So there's like, you know, things that she is going through that make things difficult for her. Fair enough, right? And so let's go ahead and play this one.
Yeah, I was super excited about these pancakes. What did you just say to me?
That these pancakes are too plain and they taste like cardboard but mixed in with pancakes.
I love.
So he says they taste like cardboard mixed with pancakes, but then, you know, we pan over and we see this corner of the house, which just looks very dirty, right? And he's walking around without shoes on. And if you look at the ground, again, it looks very dirty, right? And so this is now we've jumped ahead to 2024, and this is where people were really being like, yo, this is kind of unacceptable, again, because this is someone that consistently on their TikTok, their whole TikTok is about cleaning up the mess, and consistently the mess is not being cleaned up, and it almost looks like it's getting worse, right? And so people are starting to be like, okay, like, what are you actually doing? Like, what is actually happening here, right? And so she goes on to, you know, it just keeps getting worse, right? And then so now this is November of 2024, where she ends up having kind of a meltdown based on a lot of the stuff that is happening. So it goes on to say, shout out to my 9-year-old daughter for being there for me during all of this. I had an anxiety attack and she took care of me. I'm ashamed she had to see this, but thankful she was there. She helped calm me. Right. And in this video, she's complaining about a plumbing issue that she's been having at the house, which made it so she couldn't shower. Right. And so I'm assuming, I don't know for sure if she's, you know, renting or if she owns the house, but it can be definitely difficult. Right. If you are renting and you're renting from a slumlord and they just don't want to do any of the work, there's really not many options that you have. And so, again, I can understand that, but I would argue that I think I would be curious if a lot of the things that she is doing or not doing are causing a lot of these problems, right? But let's go ahead and play this one.
Mommy.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. The water is coming up again, and I turned off all the water, and I don't know what to do. And the plumber's not going to be here until 10, and I'm just freaking the fuck out. I just wanted to update everybody that it is now.
So again, I can understand that that's a terrible feeling. What I will never understand is feeling that you need to film that and put it on TikTok when it feels like it is a very private thing that you deal with privately. And maybe I'm a little bit of a boomer. I am 32, but I think that, like, especially when there are kids involved and like they can be embarrassed by this, it just makes sense to keep that to yourself and not share this with everyone. And I think the biggest problem and the reason this continues and probably would continue is that there is a financial incentive to post about this stuff, right? There is a financial incentive to share the messy, disgusting parts of her house because, and I know for a fact, she knows that that's what people want to see. That's the videos that people want to watch. They want to see the gross, disgusting house. Maybe it'll make them feel better about their house. Maybe it'll make them feel like, oh, this is relatable. But there is a financial incentive to film the dirty house and film the cleaning of the dirty house, which again, I think is incredibly interesting. And I think that she has, she's been able to pick up on this herself because, she's said before in TikToks that, if I need to show my dirty house more so I can get people to, watch these videos, right?
I shouldn't have taken a break from TikTok for a month because what the fuck happened to the algorithm?
So she's complaining here, right, about taking a break from TikTok and now the algorithm is all messed up, right? And then it's exactly what she says afterwards. That
show my dirty house to get more views.
Do I have to show my dirty house to get more views? Listen again.
Do I have to show my dirty house to get more views? Because that's what you all like, right? You all like me doing that, right? You like, she just, maybe I should.
So, literal proof, right, in my opinion at least, that this is someone that fully understands the game. They fully understand what they're doing, and they fully understand that showing these quote-unquote dirty house TikToks are the things that are going to get them views. That in and of itself isn't the worst thing in the world, but again, when there are kids involved, when people think that this is harming those children, people are going to have a problem with it, right? And so again, things just keep getting worse. And then again, she's obviously someone that struggles with money, like having enough money to pay for these things, and then relying on TikTok to pay your bills is just not the most financially, it's not going to be you're never going to know how much is the paycheck going to be, how much is this paycheck going to be, you never really know, right? And then this TikTok again is her kind of talking about that. So it's like the comment says, what about your money issue with TikTok? And she's responding to that.
It seems like I'm just gonna eat $535. That's why I haven't made any cleaning videos, because that shit really fucking depressed me. And why am I gonna make a cleaning video so I can make money that I can't even get?
So literally right there, she says, basically, I make cleaning videos because it makes me money. I am incentivized to make cleaning videos because I get paid for these cleaning videos. And the thing is that we all know with cleaning videos, if it's just kind of dirty, no one cares. No one's watching that video. But if you're cleaning something that is disgustingly dirty, that video is probably going to get a lot more views, right? Something that a lot of people talk about with the rug cleaning videos. People are like, bro, you just like soaked this rug in mud so you could clean it. And I think even some of the places have been like, yeah, we do that because it gets the video more views, right? Like that's what people want to see. And a lot of people, I think, feel the same way about this, right? Where it's like allowing the house to get nasty because and are incentivized to film yourself cleaning it up afterwards to make more money, right? Let's continue.
I mean, I'm cleaning. I'm just not fucking making videos about it. Sorry, I don't mean to go off on you like that. It's been so stressful. I'm trying to figure this thing out. It won't let me change my payment method. I have tried hundreds of times to try to change my payment method. I've tried reaching out. Nothing is fucking happening. And that's a lot of money to just fucking eat. So I'm going to take a break off of TikTok for a little while just because I can't anymore. Maybe I'll do a video here and there, but if I don't get that money, I don't even know anymore.
So again, right? So it seems like she almost doesn't want to clean if there's no incentive, right? Which again is a problem because the house needs to be cleaned, right? And then if we look at this, I got this from Reddit. This is a screenshot, right? So it's someone wrote in a comment, is the TikTok money and followers even worth it at this point? Just do what you need to do, get the house clean and keep your life private. The kids are the ones suffering through all of this, right? And then she responds and she said, I made $5,000 last month. It's worth it. My kids are fine, right? So clearly she is making, in her mind, enough money to put her kids and just to be put through this, right? This house that is really not clean. And the fact that there are 3 children that are living inside of this house when it is so dirty, right? And then on top of it, filming all of the kids, filming all of them living in this house, right? Now, before we get into what has been going on this year, I think it's important to talk about just the kind of the physical changes that Amanda has been going through as well. So this first video is her kind of doing a trend. We can't listen to the audio, but it's her saying her in 2022, which is, this is how she looked. And then her now, which, she's gained quite a bit of weight, right? And so that in and of itself is not the end of the world. It's not like, oh my gosh, you've gained weight. But one thing that's interesting is that in a lot of her videos, she kind of uses her weight as an excuse as to why she can't clean. And I think people have an issue with that. Now, I do want to say, as she has on this screen, this content's pretty nasty. So be ready for some very, very, very gross stuff that you're about to see. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. But let's go ahead and hear what she has to say about this whole situation here.
Before I cleaned my washer out, look at how great it looks. But then this overflowed into here, which I gotta wash anyways. And then my cat box was here. And well, yeah. Well, guys, I guess it's kind of a blessing.
So what she's talking about there is that she had a cat litter box right here, and then the water overflowed into it, and that's what this is the remnants of wet cat litter overflowing onto the ground, right?
That this happened because now it forces me to clean this. I did actually try to move the washer, and my fat body could not move it very well, so sorry about that. By the way, if you are squeamish in any way, this is pretty nasty.
So, she's saying that her fat body wasn't able to move it. So something that's pretty common is that she uses the size of her body as a reason why she can't do X, Y, or Z, right?
It is cat litter that, got wet and spilled over the cat litter box because my washer has to drain into that tub. And that's a part of the reason why it gets so dirty. Everybody's asking, why is it so dusty? Why is it so dusty? I live in the desert, which in the middle of nowhere, and it gets windy and the dust blows, and our house is pretty old, and we have single pane windows. And I know it's not an excuse, and I'm not making any excuses. But
so that's one thing that you'll notice in a lot of her videos is it's half of the video a lot of times is her responding to comments or responding to quote unquote haters. And it very much so reminds me of kind of like Amberlynn Reed, right? Where it's the content exists because they want to respond to people. They need to respond to every hater and explain to them why the situation is the way that it is. And there's nothing they can really do about it. And it just is what it is kind of thing, right?
it is a pain in the butt to manage the dust around here. So I did do my best to try to get underneath here. I'm not really sure you could see. I don't think I recorded me getting underneath there all that well, but I did try to get underneath there as best as I could. And I started a lot of towels because a lot of the towels got wet too. So I'm going to try to salvage them, but we'll see what happens. I might end up just throwing them all out. Now this is the tub that drains into, the washer drains into, and I had left this sponge in there and it clogged that hole, and that's why everything overflowed, and that's just how we've had it since we moved into this house. But it's looking a heck of a lot better, and I'll see if hubby can help me move the washers.
So, I mean, it definitely does look better, and it's obviously a good thing that she's doing it. But again, it feels like the reason this exists is to prove to other people. And like, why does this really need to be put on TikTok to monetize, to make money off of, right? And here's another clip of a similar situation, and her kind of talking about, like, if we read the caption here, it says, "And please ignore my huffing and puffing. I'm overweight and this is a tight spot." We don't need to really watch this whole video, but it's her just basically, again, cleaning up part of her house and replacing the lid on a toilet seat. And as you can see, the toilet's pretty nasty. It's hard to even look at because, like, it's one thing when things are a little bit dirty, right? And your house is a little bit old, but it's another thing when it feels like there's complete neglect going on. And I think that that's what people were starting to notice. Like, it's one thing, like, again, if we look at the early videos that she was releasing, it was just clutter and mess for the most part. But now it feels like neglect, especially when there are kids involved, right? And that's when people are starting to have issues. And that's when all of the things that happened this year and the escalation as far as like CPS being involved, that's when stuff started to really kick off, because people were starting to feel like this is no longer just, oh, I'm cleaning up my mess and I'm not really great at it, to like, what is happening here and how is this still continuing after 5 years of making this exact type of content, right? Because for the vast majority of the time that she's been making content, it has been about cleaning my space, getting and it's like, how are we not any better now that we're 5 years into this quote unquote journey of cleaning, right? And that's an issue a lot of people had. So now that we have caught up to this year, I wanted to talk about a couple different TikToks, right? There's a good amount that we're going to go over here. This one I think is really interesting because, again, it's her responding to a comment, something that she does quite a bit of, right? So let's go ahead and see what she has to say here.
You're exactly correct.
So it says, "No, we've been seeing you clean the same stuff for 4 years," right?
I have been doing this for 4 years, but the difference is I am really fucking trying this time. I'm really trying this time, right? And so, again, reminds me of ALR. It's like, oh, I'm actually trying this time. So just wait one more time. No, this is the time that it's definitely gonna work. This is the time that it's definitely everything's gonna change, right? I may have been trying to do this for 4 years, and you guys have seen me go through hell and up and down and up and down. But this time I'm really, 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 really trying to make a change. So by this point, I probably would have already quit and went back into my filthy ways. And while, yes, it's not perfect, and literally my children are paper shredders, they will be picking every ounce of this trash up because mama ain't fooling around no more. So I am here for the change. And if you don't want to stay, you don't have to stay. You can leave. You don't have to be here. But all I'm saying is we're going to thrive in 2025. Now, if you're with me, let's thrive together. And I think we should clean off this table because that would be fun and interesting. I wonder what I'll find. But anyways, I hope you have a lovely day. And thanks for the comment.
So that's her kind of responding, right? And then if we go to this TikTok is what a lot of people suspect was kind of had this, and as well as a couple other ones, got people to call Child Protective Services, because this is her helping her clean her daughter's room, I believe. So let's just let her kind of share how she feels.
Back with another bedroom cleaning video. I did have my daughter go under the bed and push all the trash out. You'll see here soon, after I clean up this corner, what it looks like. It is insane. And I just wanted to address, like, most of my comments are like, there's no excuse for this, there's no excuse for this. And I know that. I'm not making one. So quit commenting it, because I'm not making any excuse. This is absolutely horrible. And I hate that I have come to this again. I've been dealing with this battle for 4 or 5 years now, probably my whole life. I never was taught to clean very well, so I don't have those kind of skills like most people do, but here I'm trying to get my daughter to be.
So I understand, like, I can empathize with not really being taught how to clean. It's definitely something that I struggle with as well. I have issues from growing up the way that I did. But again, it's when there are kids involved, like, I think at some point you have to be like, you got to get over it and you have to be better, right? Like this, if there's just one random person living in a life like this, obviously it's very sad. But when kids are now living a life like this, they are going to be affected for the rest of their lives, right? Like she said herself, I was never taught to clean. Do you think her kids are being taught to clean? Do you think that they're going to be in a better position? You know, and like, I'm not saying like, oh, the kids should definitely be taken away, but it's like this should be something that is taken very, very seriously, because it's not a joke. It's not funny. This is disgusting, right? This is disgusting to live a life like this and to have kids that are living in a space like this. It's horrifying, right?
Here helping me. She was eager to help me. She loved coming under the bed and pushing all this garbage out. As you can see here, she's loving it. So I had her push everything out, and you guys are probably going to have to come back for the next video to...
So there she is, promoting the next video. But moving on, this is another video that I think was part of getting the Child Protective Services involved. We don't need to go over the whole thing, but it's her cleaning out her freezer.
So guys,
and then this video right here is her cleaning out her fridge. And obviously people were like, that is crazy, right? Because it is very, it's a lot to see. And like, if you look at the comments on these videos, they are just, it's like people saying stuff, right? Like 100% why potluck is a no. Overlooked, it looked like for 20 years, right? Why are we normalizing this? Absolutely disgusting. Child Protective Services needs to be called on her, right? So it's literally a comment that's saying that, right? And speaking of that, let's move on to this next TikTok where she is talking about that exact fact, right? So let's see what she has to say about this situation.
Get my house ready with me so CPS can come over.
Where's my butt?
We have to change your butt because you got a stanky in there. Oh. Now that we have taken care of his butt, here's what the living room situation is. I know I have not carpet cleaned yet, but that I am definitely going to have to pull this guy out today. The table, I don't know why it turns into a catch-all, but it does. Dogs. The kitchen, I definitely do need to get some dishes done and then declutter this. I don't know why, but this gets cluttered up with just random, just the most random stuff ever. Gotta vacuum the hallway, clean up the bathrooms. That's just laundry. And then this is my husband's room where he sleeps. I get it. The carpets are disgusting. So? This is my boys' room. I'm gonna vacuum, clearly.
That's fine. Why is so many other people
that.
so
I think
concerned?
That's styrofoam. My oldest is autistic and he has pica. So that's what that is. And then my room, I know the carpets are disgusting. I just got this pile to take care of and that's it. Now I know what you're gonna ask. Am I worried? No, not at all. I am a good mom. I take care of my kids. They have heat. They have a roof over their head. They have lots of food. They have beds to sleep in. They have clean clothes. I am not worried at all. And I am going to show this lady the progress that I have been making because it is astronomical to go back and look at some of the videos and look at what it looks like now. Like this living room has been clean for months now and we just keep up on it. And I'm so finally glad that my mind just was like, oh, there you go, girl. This is what you need. And yes, I still struggle, but I'm not worried. So come along on this journey with me because I'm bringing you guys along. I am here to hide nothing. I almost thought about not saying anything and dealing with this privately, but no, it's because of the haters on TikTok why I'm in this situation. And I am going to let this lady.
So she acknowledges there, right, that it is because of the haters on TikTok that she is in this situation. And like to an extent, yes, I would agree. But I think that even if someone kind of came over to the house and they saw it in the state that it was in, I wouldn't be surprised if someone called just based on that, right? But that's obviously probably not going to happen, right? So the people on TikTok are just doing what they feel is in the best interests of the kids. You know, obviously people can be overzealous for sure, but I can understand like this does not need to be shared, right? Not everything needs to be put on the internet to monetize. It's one thing if you're just sharing something you're excited about, you know, it is what it is. But once like monetization comes into it, there is another reason why you are posting this that has nothing to do with, oh, I actually want to clean. It's, oh, I'm going to post this because this is the only way I can make money, right? That's when it becomes a problem.
Be fully aware, who has probably no idea that I am almost to 500,000 followers on a social media app, that these are strangers, people who do not know me personally, that are calling in to make, you know, reports of my house being messy. Yes, it was messy. Yes, I am fixing it. There's nothing they can do about that. They will not take my kids. So follow along because I will have.
So she was obviously very, very, very sure that, you know, the kids aren't going to be taken away. Right. And then this video is just her saying F you guys. Basically, we can't really listen to it, but she's just saying F you guys to the haters, whatever, that called CPS on me. But then I think that this is just so random because not long after that whole situation, we get this video, which is her celebrating hitting 500,000 subscribers or 500,000 followers on TikTok.
I am 300 followers away from hitting 500,000. Mind blown. I just want to say thank you to all the people. Maybe you're following me for all the wrong reasons. Whatever, it engages with my profile.
So she says there, right? Maybe you're following for all the wrong reasons, but it engages with my profile. So it's like, I don't care that people are hate watching me. I don't care that people are hate following me because it means I have a lot of followers. But in the same breath, right, just right before this, you're complaining about these followers and people that are calling CPS on you because of the content that you are producing. And so it's just so bizarre to be like, oh, I'm so happy about all of these followers, but also I can't believe these followers are calling CPS on me, when again, you know for a fact, you said it yourself, that the reason you have people watching the videos is because of how disgustingly dirty your house is, right? Like that's the reason you have followers, is because of that. If you didn't have such a nasty house, people wouldn't watch the videos, right? That's just the fact. If you were just a regular mom that was doing regular things, like it, you know, you might have a few followers, but it wouldn't be at this level, right? And so it's just so bizarre to celebrate the fact that you have so many followers right after you're talking about how these followers are basically ruining your life, right?
Really care. A lot of people ask me, how do I handle the hate comments? I forgot I'm not wearing a bra. It's really hard. Ooh, maybe I should clean this shelf behind me. ADHD moment. It's really hard, but I persevere because there are so many other people out there that are exactly like me in the same position and need to know that there are other people out there, not just perfect princesses.
So, you know, the whole thing is, oh, you know, I do it for other people that are in the same position as me, right? To make them feel like this is normal. I would argue that this shouldn't be normalized. You know, this is not okay. This is a problem, and this should be like shown as this is a problem, not that this is normal and every parent goes through this. Yes, every parent struggles with cleaning their house, keeping their house clean to an extent, right? But this is much, much, much more beyond that. And I think normalizing that, the fact that this isn't okay, is good. But I don't think that that's what she wants, right? She wants to normalize, oh, this is just normal, and please continue watching me clean this disgusting house so I can make a ton of money on TikTok, right?
So with keeping that momentum going, we are going to finish up the dishes today, finish up the toilets today, and start on this. Because everybody loved it so much, and I think that would be a good one. And again, I am going to go... I I am gonna go get a cake because I'm pretty sure we'll hit this by the end of today. Maybe by the end of the hour. I'm not sure. But I'm so freaking excited, you guys.
So again, she's super excited about the fact that, you know, she is, you know, she has 500,000 followers. And so let's go ahead and go on this TikTok where she is kind of explaining the whole CPS situation while I think she's on the toilet.
So, I knew that.
So this is a comment, right, that she's responding to. It says, do you hear what she's saying, though? She has an open case against you, right? So the CPS person has an open case against her is what this person is saying, right?
That's fine. Why is so many other people so concerned and I'm the one dealing with it and I'm like, okay, we got this. We gonna take care of business. We gonna get it done. Yes, I'm sitting on the toilet. Shh. I love how so many other people care, even now that it's clean and now that a CPS lady has come over. This is like normal for them to make sure, to come back and make sure. Like, it's not something fucking special. She already opened the case when she walked into my door the first time. Oh my God. I'm probably just gonna have to take a break for a few days after this. I'm not gonna post any videos. Some of you people overwhelm the shit out of me. And it'll never be perfect to some people. And I know it's not perfect right now. I'm not trying to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. But if it's better than it was the day before, that's where we're at.
I mean, and like, I understand that, right? Nobody is perfect. But again, you have to, like, when your excuses become, you have to be wary, right, of when your excuses become too much, right? When they just excuse really bad behavior. And that's where the problem is, right? It's like, clearly there's some serious dysfunction here that you need to really figure out, and that includes not spending all day arguing with people on TikTok, right? Because it is not good for your mental health. It's not going to be good for the kids. Like, yes, I know it makes you money, but is it worth it really? Right? That's really where, at the end of the day, what matters.
And that's fine. If I'm not worried, none of you should be. And don't worry, because I am going to keep up with it. I cannot let it get like that again. And I promise my children that. And if nobody wants to believe me, that's fine. Leave a shitty comment. I know you do. It just helps my video and pays me more. So, yeah.
So, you know, again, it's just the constant, like, oh yeah, just leave a crappy comment and it pays me more anyway. So it's like, it's not really taking responsibility, and I think I know why the reason for this is because she probably feels very much so out of control about the situation. And that is a way that you can kind of take back control of, like, yeah, leave a comment. It pays me anyways. It really is it's a way that a lot of people will deflect kind of the criticism, and they'll deflect really taking ownership of it because they're just like, oh, you know, I'm just doing this to get a rise out of you anyways, right? And that's kind of, it seems like, what she is trying to employ there with that response. So with all that being said, I wanted to show you guys a video. So this is a video from this month, and it kind of goes over a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, and it shares kind of her mindset currently after everything that has happened.
I am late to this whole bloom trend, and no, this is not a sponsored video. I'm not getting paid for this. I just want to try it because I've seen everybody try it, and your girl could do with some gut health. Dude,
that stuff is so frustrating. I know this is not what this video is about, but this is why I get so frustrated with products like this, because there's so many other better choices that she could make to spend her money on than this kind of stuff. And this is, oh man, it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I don't really blame her. And I mean, if this is not an ad, it is what it is. But it's so frustrating seeing this because there are so many other better uses of your money, your time, your effort, your energy than a Bloom supplement, when there's just so many better options.
Friday, I did not finish this video. Oh, it's got different flavors. I did not finish the wall cleaning video because my grandpa had passed away. My grandpa was a big part of my life. When my mom had me at 20, she didn't really take care of me that well. My grandparents watched me a lot so my mom could work and
kind of just do her own thing. So they helped raise me, and that's why I'm super sad. But we got 3 different.
And like, so clearly, you know, this is a person that is going through a lot, and I don't discredit that, right? I don't discredit that at all. But again, it's like, you have to understand that if you're going through a lot, I understand, but when you have kids, there's just other responsibilities that you have, right?
Flavors. And look, guys, my nails are clean. It's a shocker. I want to try.
So what that is in reference to is that a lot of people would complain about, like, you know, her nails, and I mean, they would be literally just black under them, and she'd be cooking meals for her kids. And it was definitely like, you know, this is someone that needs to start taking their personal hygiene a little bit better, right?
The berry. So yeah, my cat I had to put down on Monday, and then my grandpa passed away. Oh, it's all green. It's been rough. Wait, this is mango. I guess I'm trying mango. I was going to try the berry. I put the berry back and then... Oh, well. I guess we're doing mango. Let me get some water. Yes, this is water. It's just been in the fridge because it's cold. Ew, it looks like poo-poo water. Looks like my toilet. I don't have one of those fancy little jiggers. So I'm just gonna go like this to get... That works, I guess.
So, and then, I mean, it just shows her trying the bloom and stuff. Again, it's like, it's clear that she's still kind of trying to be, you know, the whole social media influencer. And it's just so interesting seeing someone chase that kind of life while it's clear that there is so much other stuff that they should be focused on and they should be taken care of. And it's a really weird situation because I assume this TikTok stuff is helping pay a lot of the bills. And if it doesn't exist anymore, that would make things maybe impossible or even harder. But at the same time, I think that filming all of this stuff and putting all this stuff out there is not good for her mental health. It's probably not good for the kids. It's just causing so much mayhem and strife in her life. And it's so interesting seeing the desire to want to keep pushing through it because, you know, it is paying the bills. It's very similar to like Hungry Fat Chick with like, you know, doing the mukbangs when she knows that those aren't good for her. It's kind of a very similar vibe that I get from this. And so it's really interesting because social media and becoming an influencer and making money off of your content can be such a godsend and it can be such a lifeline for so many people. But a lot of times when that content is actively hurting you and harming you, it's like, what is the best decision for the person? Is it best to continue pushing through because you need that money? Or is it best to take a break because this content is actively, literally ruining your life? And I don't really have a full answer for that. I just wanted to share this very interesting story because there are a lot of correlations to other people that we talk about quite a bit on this channel. And I'm kind of curious what you guys think down in the comment section down below, because I think, like, you know, when her videos go viral, most of the comments are very negative, but for the most part, they're definitely very split, right? It's not like a this is right or this is wrong kind of thing. A lot of people have different opinions on this. And I feel like growing up in a very similar situation, you know, not to that level at all, but like in a similar situation, I can understand kind of where she's coming from to an extent. But even with that being said, I think that there are, you know, boundaries that shouldn't be crossed and levels to this. And it feels like this has gotten like the top of the level as far as being a pretty inexcusable in my opinion. But that's just how I feel. So I would love to know what y'all think down in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.